Okay, you know what it is. It's the boy Kamal Hart on the chart, and we're going bar by bar. Before we hop into it all the way, I just wanted to address the hiatus. I was still trading, still making money, still doing well. I've been having a hard time finding the time to do these videos, but you know, there's a guy out there on YouTube. He goes by the name, or at least his YouTube name is Price Action Trading System. That's where I pretty much learned everything in terms of my entry. So he's a lot more consistent than I am in terms of everyday videos. For me, I just like to do this on days that I think are good for reviews. Um, but I'm back now. We'll do at least today. But you know, if in the future you're ever looking for more videos, especially in the past when I've only been doing videos for a few months. Mac has been doing videos for almost 10 years. So he's definitely an OG when it comes to price action on YouTube. So that's that. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Let's just hop into the charts. Um, you can see there's like a gap down. It's important to realize that there's a gap here and to see if it ever gets filled throughout the day. But we kind of have a trend. It breaks out. There's two legs down, and then it's kind of like almost like a congestion zone. But you can see there's a reversal going on. There's been some reversal patterns already along the way. So that's how I'm seeing this. I'd probably see if we have anything going off of there. It's not a perfect fit off the highs, but you can see off the highs right there as well. So at this point, I'm just looking for a buy. We're in position to go long. So like right here, that's a second entry long off this high, first entry, second entry. Once this next bar breaks above, this is our signal bar. The next bar that breaks above, that's going to be our entry. Probably not take that trade. You get a little bit, not that much. And then here, it kind of happened fast, but this was the open. And when I entered on this bar, it was uh, it was just a small little doji bar. But then I don't know, within like a few milliseconds, it seemed like it just shot up and then shot back down. I blinked and really these two bars printed, to be honest. So at the time, it's an okay entry. It's a little bit early, but what I was looking for was just because I had missed this trade. I was just looking to kind of re-enter at that same level, and I still had a 2 point stop, which was below this bar by a tick. So if you look, prices then set up a second entry long right there off this high. Went higher once, fails. The next candle to break above this bar is a good signal bar as well. That's going to be a good trade. So what I was doing at this point, I'm just holding on to these two contracts. And then once I saw this bar form, I just tightened my stop one tick. But pretty much I'm just in long right there. And there you go. I've been experimenting with bigger profit targets to get my risk reward closer to 2 to 1. So what I do now is I go for 2 points on my scalp, and then I treat the runner as I always treat the runner. Um, that's helping me make some pretty big profits. Of course, like you lose more trades than normal or than what I'm maybe used to, but when I hit a good one, you really get to squeeze the most out of it as possible. So I'll be looking at that. I still have a runner on this trade, so I'll just be looking at this point on how I'm going to exit my runner. And at the time, I was just kind of visualizing a midline, and I was trying to exit near this midline. And it pulls back, that's cool. Once it made this bar, I tighten my stop 1 tick below this swing point, breaks higher, and then boom. I got my exit right there, kind of drives right through that middle, right through there. So that's all I needed for the day. You know, taking 2 points on my scalp really changes your bottom line. Like I said, you have to be a little more, not just conservative, but just more careful about where you enter, just to make sure you're going to get 2 points. But it's not that hard to catch 2 points. So if you're taking the right trades, you usually can catch about 2. So anyway, that continues to trend. And you can see we get this little sideways action. That should be a big clue right there if you're still in. You can see all this sideways action right through there. Potentially people taking profits, but it's going to be a congestion zone, right? So when it falls off like this, we're not too surprised. I think another thing to look at though is that when we look at this trend, this isn't a convincing breakout side, so I'm not necessarily going to consider that as the breakout, but this for sure is a convincing break. So what I would do is just get a line. I just want to see if this plays out and then it comes back to retest these highs at some point. So that's our breakout. Here's our higher low, but that's not a great signal bar. It doesn't trigger, so it doesn't matter. Right here it triggers. You might enter here. It's not really the type of setup I go for. But here's the higher low, and that one kind of takes off. And then you get your failed second entry right there. But the problem is that you're back at these highs. See, we're expecting the breakout and a test of the high. So I don't want to go long at these highs. That's not a high probability place. So I'd skip that. And plus you got that triple top right there. It's just not a good place to go long. It would have failed, stopped you out just by a few ticks. And then you get kind of a re-entry pattern. I'm not too trusting of it yet. In fact, we have a bar that's inside of a bar that's inside of a bar. So right there's already a congestion zone and you're buying like a breakout. So it's not really a great setup, in my opinion. And here's like a reversal off this low, first entry, second entry. I'm starting to like this trade a little bit more, but still it's pretty congested. So I'd probably at this point I'd get proactive and I would throw this on the chart. Just like a little range, just to give us an idea of what's going on. And you can see that failure, you would have at least got your scalp by 1 tick if you enter on a limit. And then anything more than that, it wouldn't have worked out for you. But this is fine, right? We want to see it pull back and see if we can buy off these lows. That's the first entry engulfing bar. It's not a good setup. Let's wait. And then here's a second entry with a better setup. It's below the range line. It's below that line. That's going to be a good place. I'm going to buy that one. And kind of have to just, at this point, you know, it's clearly sideways, so you don't want to keep forcing it anymore. But if you're in, there's no problem. You should just hold it. Wait till it gets to this other side. Test the highs. So close enough. So there. So pretty much all through here, we're just sideways. There's really, you know, you get that touch. Nothing really. There's a little second entry short right there, actually, off this bar. From these lows, that's the first entry, fails, second entry. Yeah. it would have worked. Then here you kind of get that failed break lower, but the setup, it's a little aggressive. When I saw this real time, I really considered just buying it because I just knew what this setup was, but it's not a clean technical, so I wouldn't stress it if you don't take that. You know, you don't get that much in either. So then now we're starting to get a breakout lower. What I really want to see is a breakout pullback, but you know, this is so strong that I'm just going to go ahead and give it a line just off the strength because it's breaking outside. Typically, I want to see it break outside, pull back, then keep going lower, and then I give it a line. But with this one, it just shot straight down. It killed all these lows. It crushed all these lows. So once it starts kind of moving past a couple swings, you should just respect it. The pullback's coming, but it's already in downtrend mode. Just shoots down. I mean, and then this one is the one where your pullback would have been these right here. You know, these would have been your pullbacks, and it didn't really break above, but that would have been probably as close as you got until down here or something. And that thing just shoots. You know, no way to really predict that it's going to do that, but I mean, that thing shoots off. So here's your pullback. Let's see kind of what sets up. You know, from way, way, way up here, that's a reversal pattern. Off this high, went lower, comes up, goes lower again, comes up, right there. In this context, I want to wait on a second entry though. So I'm just going to wait. Let's see if it gets back to the EMA. Like a little better setup. Don't really get that better setup, but if you look closely, what I can do is I can extend my line just for visuals. You get a little second entry short. The bar that breaks below, right? Counting off this low, went down once, pull back, got a little lip. You didn't really get the break above, but you get the lip. There's a short opportunity right there. The only thing that is like not great is that you do have that little zone, congestion zone. So you're selling the breakout. So I won't mark this because this isn't clean enough of a setup, but I do like to note that, you know, second entries work all the time, even when they don't have nice signal bars and things like that. And that one shoots down, but it's interesting. You don't get much before it kind of pulls back. And then on this pullback, it's just really a first entry to this low. There's some buying pressure on both of these bars. I wouldn't really re-enter there. The pullback, and then now we're kind of getting that kind of like a reversal pattern, and we're closing above this EMA. Probably would get something like this on the chart, or even more accurately, in my opinion, is it's just a big congestion zone. If you see the way it bounced, it's pretty much just the range, right? It's just that pretty much captures the price. So it's just a range, and we're getting that breakout. So really what I want to see before I throw that line is I want to see the breakout pullback. I want to see it move up, break lower, and keep going higher. There's the break lower. See how when it broke lower though, it never really made it back to these highs. And then when it does, it makes a double top. And then this really, really bearish bar. I say it's a little aggressive to sell here just because we're still above the EMA. But if you're seeing the range, you're looking at that as like a breakout pullback or a breakout fade. That's just a lower high in a breakout fade trade. Let's make that aggressive. So I'd be looking at that short as a pretty good opportunity. And then right here, you get your true reversal pattern. I like this. This trade right here is the trade that you really want to take for sure. And I would measure this first leg, just bring that down to there, just matching it up here. And that would be potentially my target for this trade. And that one does work. That's a really nice trade. All the way to your target, and then some. That would have been this was easily the best trade of the day. I wasn't around my chart at the time, but that was a really good trade. Something that I see real quick as well might be worth pointing out. Let's see. Is that when you take the distance of these range zones, you see how close that gets to the highs up here. Like it's just a two zone, like a range expansion. You can see how it interacts right there as support and then finally becomes resistance again. So kind of just a range. Tons of ways to see these markets. So essentially what we can do now is, since we're still trading lower, it's getting aggressive to sell down here. So I need to get a channel. I need to get a channel going, and I need to see second entries off the EMA or off my trend line. I need to be careful because we're pretty far away from this EMA. We're going to pull back at some point. That's a first entry, right? Nothing there yet. If it breaks below here, there's a second entry, but that's not a great signal bar. Yeah, see, like right there, and then it broke below. It's not a great signal bar, so I have a hard time saying like going short there. But if you see it, it's there. Back to that idea of second entries with bad signal bars are like C trades, where technically they're there, but their setups aren't. Their setups don't have a lot of edge in terms of probability. So I would just skip that. I mean, if you were in on this or this, you should have a pretty good profit at this point. So I'm probably skipping that one. And it was a good trade though. So I mean, it's not to say that, I don't know, it's aggressive, but it was there. It's kind of like a lower high, but you already have the breakout move to a new low. So we're kind of in what I call a no trade zone. Once we break below these lows on this bar, once we broke below these lows, from this bar until we get a reversal pattern or a second entry or another channel, I'm not taking any trades because it will be difficult to know where the market is going from this bar until we get that reversal pattern or a second entry. The market could literally go up, it could go down, it could go sideways. I have no bias right now on which way the market's going. We kind of get this triple bottom, a double bottom, pushes higher, and then boom, reversal pattern. See, off this low, went higher, came back, went higher, broke lower, went higher. That's going to be a reversal. Boom, just like that. So that's where the next trade would come. And then probably have a trend through there. Damn, my bad. That was probably loud. Now we're back in a weird area because it's hard to go long on any of these trades. If you miss this, you just got to wait for like a second entry. A lot of these are just going to be aggressive longs. So like here, you can see we're going really sideways. I don't want to buy the breakout. See how it broke out? I think what you can do here though is see this double bottom between this low and that low. So we got a double bottom that becomes our new single low. So this is a higher low right here. So the next time it breaks lower and moves above, we might take that trade. See, but that doesn't happen till way up here, and you can already see that it's a congestion zone. It's just super obvious congestion zone. So it's aggressive to buy this, and then we're so far from the EMA. It's not a good trade in my opinion. See how it doesn't break above on this bar, one more bar, then it breaks above there. But still, you can see how sideways that is. That's just not a good trade. And it works, you know, you would have won, but um, this time it works, next time it might not. And I don't know, there's just no edge right there. So we're probably close to that no trade zone again. We're getting that. Well, let me actually make sure. We're getting a breakout, right? So we're getting a breakout here. So really what I want to see is maybe a second entry long or something. We just got to wait and see. So pulling back. So here's that second entry long, but you can see that's a doji. See the signal bar? It's a doji. The trigger bar looks really strong, but you got to use this bar, and that's not bullish at all. So it looks really tempting, but it'd probably be skipped. And then when this sets up, it's a little early to go short, so I'm not necessarily suggesting just go short there, but you at least need to respect that there's a reversal pattern right here. So went higher once, fails, went higher twice. If it breaks below, that's a failure. So if you're being aggressive, you know, you have some room to these lows. Let me see. If you're being aggressive, you might see that and go short. But it's definitely a little too early. I want to see prices get below the EMA, but you might take that. That one, that does okay. You get a little bit out of that. And you can see actually, right? Like after this bar, boom, congestion zone already. And look how prices respond. It makes it to the low side, gets a little breakout, boom, goes to test the other side, and then shoots past. So, like I said, a little aggressive going short there, but it would have worked. And now it almost seems like this was a like two legs back. Like this was like one, like two, and each one has a two-legged move. So it's like two legs in the first leg, and then two legs in the second leg. Now it's retesting these highs. It would have been difficult to enter down here. So let's see if we get a reversal pattern or something. Here's our higher low, but that sets up right at the highs. That's not the best place to go long, so probably skipping that. And then we're pulling back. This is what I would call a no trade zone as well, because we're kind of like, once we broke above on this bar, it's like the market can keep going, it can go down, it can go sideways. It's kind of tricky. But you do get your reversal pattern right here off this low. Once, twice, boom, breaks above, there's a trade. It's an aggressive trade, so I actually didn't make the longs blue today, but it's like this is, in my opinion, not that aggressive. That's a pretty standard trade. Some blue ones, like a lot of these over here, these are pretty standard. I just didn't change them. I have no problems going long there under most circumstances. Okay. But when we start talking about this one, This one is a little far from the EMA. We already have a breakout move to a new high. Um, I would skip this trade. It's pretty close to the end of the day as well. It's 11:30. I wouldn't be trying to force anything up here, but it's there if you see it. And just kind of, you can see how sideways it is. You'd have to just wait through all of that. And it's already 12:05 by the time we get any kind of breakout. So you would have got that trade, but you just have to wait through all this stuff. But that's pretty much it. That's what I saw today. Really solid trading day, though. I mean, the trades were a little spread out, especially for the afternoon. But each one, other than maybe this one, had pretty good runners. Pretty good. You know, this is a great trade. This trade was pretty good for me as well. So, and then big picture, it's just a range. Big picture, it's pretty much, we got some lows here, got some highs, probably like up here. You know, big picture is just a range. You can see it's starting to kind of trend down off this area. So that's all it was today. But that's what I got. It's your boy Kamal Hart signing out, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.